Okay everyone, so today we are going to use this lab which is provided by the Portsfigure, and in which we need to crack the stay logged in cookie or the remember me cookie. And if you know that nowadays all of the website allows this feature, right, to stay logged in using cookie. So if the cookie generation is very simple, then we can actually generate our own cookie, right? If we can identify how this stay logged in cookie is generated, then we can actually make our own cookie and log in. So if you don't know how cookie works, is in pretty simple way. Just understand here that your information is stored in the browser, right? If I am going to go here and check on the cookies, there is going to be a lot of cookies there, right? Let's see. So this Portsfigure website using this many cookies, right? And each of them stores your information and it is going to be stay there. And if this is stay logged in, and it is going to be stay there, such as authentic, it may be a token that identifies just this is the particular account that they need to log in. It may be directly a password such as username and password. So if we can able to crack that, we will able to create our own cookies and we can use that. All right. So there are two ways majorly. First is that you observe your cookie on your account and you can crack it and then brute force it online directly. And second thing is, if you get the cookie from someone else, like you hijack the cookie, and that type of attack actually you can do when you are either you have installed the malware or you are running an MITM account, right, which is man in middle attack. Okay, when you are running that, if someone is on your hotspot, someone is on your Wi-Fi network, then you can hijack the cookies, and also you can hijack the cookies manually using the malware. Okay, those are the advanced topic, not advanced, intermediate level topics that we will cover in the next series, which is going to be a web app hacking in intermediate level. But right now let's just go with the brute forcing the stay logged in cookie. Okay, I am going to access the lab. I actually just solved the lab and I recorded video also, but then there was a lot of noise, so that's why I am re-recording. So I am going to be very fast right now. Okay, so it's just 2 minutes, that's fine. Let's just directly go into it. So we have our username Wiener and Peter, right? So Wiener, Peter, and there is this now new functionality which is stay logged in, right? And if we have this interface, this is new attack surface, right? You need to observe how many attack surfaces you have wherever you can attack. So we have now new attack surface which is stay logged in. So there may be a potentially a vulnerability, right? In this lab we are going to follow too many of our flowchart which we studied on the very first video of hacking login, in which we had the flowchart that in the third video when we had OTP, there I have created that find the alternative ways to entry point, find alternative entry points. So that's what we are going to do in this particular lab. I am sending it to the website. Let's just send it. And what we can see is that, observe this request. We have this first cookie which is session, alright, that is going to be normal everywhere. Then we have username, password, and we have new parameter which is stay logged in is equal to on. So now let's just send it. What happens is that we get this new cookie, right? We get this stay logged in cookie. So this is potentially our attack surface, and in website it just automatically decodes it, and what we have is that Wiener double gem, whatever the hash is that, right? So we need to, what we need to do now, logically, if you look at here, it can be a password, right? It may be a stored password in the hash format. So let me just send it to the decoder for right now, and let's just forward all of the request. Okay, let me just stop the intercept logout. And now what we can do, first forget about the cookie. Okay, we have our brute forcing. We can directly we don't do a direct brute force when we have our password list, right? So you will understand in a moment. Again, according to theory, we should not be following the brute force at all. Brute force is going to be a last resort. But let's just see what happens. We have that, and let's just send the request, intercept on login. Okay, send it to the intruder. Okay, now we have our, what happened, yeah, here it is. Let me just delete this, because then it is going to be, we need to follow the redirection afterwards, because we are getting stay logged in cookies also. Okay, now password, paste. All right, and I am also adding that brute force prevention X forwarded for brute force prevention bypassing. If there is, we can just directly bypass that. Okay, and all right, in setting, let's just grab and extract. Invalid username or password. Okay, so as you can see, it just directly saying that you have made too many incorrect attempts, even though we have added X forwarded for. Let's, even if we are going to slow down, then it is still going to say the same. Now what we need to do, same as the 2FA, what we did, if there is a 2FA protection, then we try to find the entry point where there wasn't, right, where there is no 2FA protection. So same time, what I am trying to do here is that we are going to find a way where we can brute force without the brute force protection. And let's just see, is that possibility on the cookie? And either way, we were going to do work on the cookie first, right? We are not going to work on brute force at all initially, but I just showed you that this kind of scenario you will have in real life. So we are going to decode it as a base 64, because that's what we observe, and if not, then you can also just go online, identify the hash, and you can decode it directly. So now we have this winner double gem hash. So what does this hash mean, or what is it hash? So our theory or logical theory should be it is a password, right? So first we need to identify the hash in order to crack it. In the Kali Linux we have the tools, and Hashcat also allows this. Hashcat have auto detection mode, right? Web app security, let's just go here. This is my kind of like a trash directory where I just put everything. Okay, so now if I say hash ID and put our hash, what happens is that it identifies is that MD2 or MD5 or MD4 and this many, right? So it can be any hash from this. If the results are not satisfying, then we can go to online somewhere on potentially better tools, online hash identifier, right? Online hash. We can go here. And it says either MD5 or MD4. Alright, so MD5 is a kind of like a best choice here. So again it is saying same as this hash ID, right? So it is MD5, and if not, then you are going to try as something else. So now what we are going to do, we are going to test our theory. Okay, what is it is that this is the password. So in order to crack the MD5, we can use Hashcat and we can add Peter as a password, right? So which I already added here in the brutepass.txt, which is Peter, and we are going to crack it using Hashcat, Ctrl+Shift+V, brutepass.txt, and let's just see what happens. Okay, we need to select the algorithm, so I am just going to say 0, and what it is saying is that all hashes found as a profile or empty entries. So I have already cracked it, that's why it is in the database. So I just need to say show and I get the result, right? In your case it is going to crack, it may take long and it may also use all of your CPU power, but not in just Peter, not in just one, but when you are going to do in the millions of pass lists, right? You may be using SEC list, the most common passwords and kind of like that. So that may be a possibility that you in order to crack the hash, you need a very high computer. Okay, and if you do not have that, then you need to go on the onlinehashcrack.com or any service which allows you to crack the hashes, right? And but you need to make a decision, does that worth it or not? Okay, because most of the time you are in real life setting, you are not going to you won't be able to crack the hash. Okay, most of the time. So we have now our theory is tested that this hash means Peter. So it's basically how our cookie is like Wiener, comma, a double gem Peter. This is our cookie. This is how our cookie is there, and how the website is creating the cookie is that it is first hashing password into MD5, then adding Wiener double gem to it at the prefix, and then it is encoding it into the base 64, right? So let's just test our theory. Does that, this is the okay, so this is the case. Now let's just see, can we brute force it? Okay, that's what we need to see. Wiener and any password. Okay, let's just set Peter, so there is going to be a cookie there. Stay logged in. Okay, it is on the burp suite. Forward. So this is there. I am going to forward it, and what we are going to do is we are going to brute force on this cookie. Okay, send it to the intruder, forward, drop, interface off. Okay, let's just go there. Now we have this our stay logged in cookie. What we are going to do is I am going to add one password, which is Peter. Alright, and in the payload processing, this is the good thing about the burp suite, that you can add the payload processing. Alright, the how you want to add the payload, how you want to handle the payload. If that wasn't the feature, or you are not aware of that, or you need advanced feature, then you will need to use a bash script to do that. Alright, learning bash script will actually increase your time, reduce your work time significantly. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do, we first need to hash the Peter into MD5. So I am going to do hash, and algorithm is going to be MD5. Okay, so we have that. Then what we need to do, we need to add the sub prefix, which is going to be a Wiener double gem. I am saying this sign as a double gem because that's in now my vocabulary, but it is, I think, called the colon. Okay, and then add we need to encode it into base 64. Encode base 64. Okay, and also let's just scrape it. Your username is Wiener, so we logged in, right? Okay, so I am going to select that your username is Wiener, and let's just start the attack. And what happens is that we logged in and we logged in, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like we could have worked on the brute force also initially, where we would have added the correct login and then wrong login, correct login and then wrong login. That way we would have done that, but it would have taken a long time. So that's why I just come here directly. Okay, so this is here. So it's working now. What we need to do, we need to encode our entire pass list, or we need to process our entire pass list and change it here Wiener to Carlos, right? And in the payload processing, we need to edit this prefix to the Carlos. So that's why we add Carlos everywhere on every password, and clear, select the pass list, which is provided by the Portswigger itself. All right, and let's start the attack and see what happens. 302. Okay, so everywhere is 302. There is nothing we are getting. What happened? Okay, so I think this cookie, the session cookie, is also, we need to change that. So let's just generate this session cookie for the Carlos, right? We shouldn't have logged in, but that's fine. Let's just generate it for the Carlos. Carlos anything, stay logged in, login. So we have this session cookie, and I am just testing my theory. we can copy it, forward, drop, intercept off, intruder, let's go there and add it here, right? And now let's start the brute force. Okay, so I think we found that your username is Carlos, this is our password, and we need to decode it. Rather than decoding it, we can just log in this request into the browser. Copy, let's go, and okay, you already solved the lab. I don't know how, but we already solved the lab. Let me just add it again. Yeah, so we now solve the lab. Okay, let me just test out one more theory, which I think should be that we would be able to do a brute force directly if there was no protection on cookie brute force, right? So on the initially we would be able to do that here, where in the Carlos we have the password, right? And in the payloads, okay, let me just clear it up. If you remember, we have created somewhere this Peter, no, pass1.txt. okay, yeah, 1 2 3 4 Peter, 1 2 3 4 Peter. So what Peter, okay, yeah, so in the here it is going to be Carlos, and we also need to add here. So okay, let me just try that also. Pitchfork, all right, there are going to be 3. So payload 1 is password, payload 2 is this list, and here we just need to change the usernames, which is going to be usernames, Carlos Wiener, yes. And on the 3, I hope you are understanding this because I have already covered this part, right? And let's start the attack. What happens? Nope, it is still blocking, right? Okay, let me just slow down the resource pool. Let's just go there, resource pool, and let's just slow it down to one attempt at a time and start the attack. Okay, so it is blocking, the brute force protection is there, right? Yeah. Okay, so we complete this lab, and in the next lab we are going to do different lab, which is probably, what is it, let me just check. Next we have offline password cracking, okay, and then sending passwords by email, resetting. Yeah, so this is going to be very fun. All right, the reset password breaking is very fun. Reset password link, we are going to spoof the reset password link. That is actually a pretty good concept. We will be able to do that. Okay, so this covers our today's video. How long is it? 20 minutes. That I thought that I got very long. Maybe I am speaking low right now, so that's why I felt that the video is very long, but it's just 20 minutes. That's really fine.